Welcome back. You're watching CHA Today. I'm your host, Jennifer Gallman. A new initiative is on its way to help families who are currently homeless in Charlotte. Here to tell us more is Deronda Metz and Shelley Henderson from the Salvation Army. Shelley, Deronda, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So there's this great new initiative underway in conjunction with the Housing Authority and a lot of other community partners. Can you tell us a little bit about the initiative and the goal?
Well, the goal is to move families into housing. And as you know, we've been struggling with an overcrowded shelter since the late 90s. So we've been looking for a solution to moving families out. So the opportunity to partner with Charlotte Housing Authority and moving to housing is real exciting for us, plus about the 65 families that we serve right now at the Center of Hope. So this initiative came about because of a group of partners saw that we needed to find some type of solution. So we partnered with some of the faith congregations, some public agencies, and we're moving forward with Hampton Crest.
Now, I know Hampton Crest is recently purchased by the Housing Authority subsidiary Horizon Development, and so all the due diligence is in place. But what's going on in the interim? You've had some exciting news lately. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, we did. We applied to the Critical Needs Fund to get some money to get Hampton Crest going, because one of the challenges we'll be faced with as early as next week is enrollment in program closing down and not having enough space for families that will need sheltering when it closes. So we applied to the Critical Needs Fund to get Hampton Crest going. So our goal is to get 20 families moved into Hampton Crest, and the Critical Needs actually gave us about $75,000 to get that going. So that's
great.
exciting.
Now, there's several partners involved in trying to get everything in place, because with the traditional assisted housing, some basics are in the apartments, but when you're dealing with families who are in a homeless situation, moving into housing, the needs are a little bit different. Shelley, can you tell us a little bit about what things are going on with the partners involved, some of those partners, to get the apartments ready for some of these families?
Absolutely. Our goal is to create a home-like setting for the families as they move in and provide them the services that they need as they're on their road to independence. St. Matthew's Catholic Church and St. Gabriel's Catholic Church are putting together the effort to collect donated items that are needed for each apartment, such as furniture and furnishings, and also food, a little bit of food, so as the families move in, they can immediately begin the business of living. In addition, the Park Ministries is allowing people to bring in their donated items and storing them at their facility, the park on Independence. So that's a wonderful, wonderful way for them to be involved with this. In addition, Charlotte Mecklenburg Schools has said that they would work with us, with the Salvation Army Center of Hope, on transitioning the kids into their former schools, the schools that they are attending now, making sure that they can get there and that the transportation is provided. In addition, though, they are going to assist the kids as they transition into their new schools once they move into Hampton Crest.
Well, that's really important. That's something you don't normally think about. Like, the children are in school now and they have a home school, so making sure you don't disrupt their school year. And I know that Charlotte Mecklenburg Schools does a really good job at doing that. And Deronda, you could probably touch on this for me, because you were very much hands-on in the Hall House initiative that happened 2 winters ago, which helped some families in the community get a temporary home to kind of stabilize and move forward. Can you tell us a little bit about Hall House, and are you using some of the lessons learned from Hall House to work on this initiative? Some of the similarities, differences?
Yeah, absolutely. And I got to say, Hall House was temporary, but we always knew we were going to look for something long term. So Hampton Crest is sort of that expansion from Hall House, not in the same location and probably in a more appropriate setting for families. But we did learn a lot. We actually moved about 68 families into the Hall House project. And we had buses coming there from maybe over 30 different schools. So we moved families from the shelter and other places where they were homeless in Charlotte. And a big part of it was getting them linked to Charlotte Mecklenburg School bus transportation to make sure that those kids were able to continue to go to school. So Charlotte school system. They did an excellent job with making sure those kids didn't miss days and get those buses there. But we did. I think one of the greatest lessons that we learned from Hall House is that if you give people an opportunity to transition, to get some employment skills, that they can get on their feet. And I think we did a good job with getting people in housing, and those families are still in housing. So what we learned that we can be successful. The biggest lesson that we learned from Hall House is that the Salvation Army alone couldn't do it. So it took partners like the Charlotte Housing Authority and some other agencies that were involved to make it all to work.
You know what's great is that you are right about the Hall House. Those families, even though it was 6 months, it really helped change their life. One of the family members that we interviewed on the show back then actually called this past holiday just to say happy holidays to me. She's doing well and just wanted to take a moment to talk to me and thanks for everything that the initiative had to offer. And so it was great to hear from her. And you are right, these type of initiatives can really make a difference. You mentioned 20 families to start with. What number are you looking towards to build as this program evolves?
Sure. We'll be housing about 60 families at Hampton Crest total. And we'll give those families 3 years to be able to get on their feet and be able to move into market rate rentals. So the first 2 years we'll focus on the education, on what job skills are needed so this family can become more employable. And on that third year, we'll focus on learning how to budget, learning how to live independently. So we'll start off with about 60 families, and we really believe more than 90% of those families will be successful.
One key factor, a little bit about the screening process, how you're choosing the families. First and foremost, what you've stated is these are families with children that will be in school, so they will actually have a home to do homework, which I think is great. Yeah. It's hard to do homework if you don't have a home. But talk about what they have to do to qualify to be in the program. You have this awesome, I think you called it job readiness program that they've been involved in. Can you talk a little bit about that? I think it's just great.
Well, it's a job readiness program called Show Up for Life, and the title says it all. You know, you show up for life regardless of what's going on. So we have the child care in place. We have transportation in place when you have to get out there and look for jobs. We have a computer lab on site, and we have an awesome instructor that makes it all happen. She also brings in other partners from the community, from Goodwill to Charlotte Area Fund, vocational rehabilitation, and allow people to know what services are available so they can get employment. So the screening process will really start with those families that have completed the job readiness program. They've made a commitment that I want to further my education. You know, I need some more job skills so I can move into the job market and get a job that I'll be able to pay market rate rent. And that's not easy. That's not easy. And I think we'll try it in 2 years. Our goal is in 3 years that we can get someone above the minimum wage so they'll be able to provide for their family. If you ask a family that's homeless, what is it that you need? I would think the first answer would be housing, but it's not. It's employment.
Very interesting. So I'm very excited to watch this initiative evolve. There's a lot of interest already, and it's just starting to take shape. There's a lot that's been done, but there's still a lot more that's going to go on. Shelley, tell us a little bit about the partners. Are they currently needing anything? Should the community just kind of stay aware of this issue and watch as things unfold? What would the community at large need to do if they wanted to know more or if they want to get involved?
Absolutely. The community at large really can watch and see what's happening. As we start collecting our donations, I'm sure that a call will be made out to the community on what we need to make these places a home for the families as they come in. Habitat for Humanity has committed to providing volunteers and labor needs for rehabilitating the apartments for people. We might need volunteers for that from the community, absolutely.
Well, I know that everyone is very committed to keeping the community aware of what's going on. So at this point, we can just refer everybody to the Salvation Army's website to understand programs that the Salvation Army has, and eventually there'll be a link on the website where people can find out more about the specific initiative at Hampton Crest, correct?
Yes.
Great. Well, I want to thank both of you for taking time out of your busy schedules today to come on and just let the community know what's going to be evolving over there at Hampton Crest. We look forward to following this, learning more, and we are very excited that some families will be having the opportunity to have a home and start to move to the path of self-reliance. So thank you both for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having us.
To learn more about this program and other programs at the Salvation Army, log on to their website, www.salvationarmycharlotte.org. Up next, find out how TDA, Talent Development, is helping children at Victoria Square in Claremont make the grade. Back in a moment.